Okay, so I've had a couple of videos now where I've talked about my experience as a pastor and the calling and that kind of stuff. Well, the tension that grew in me as I considered my pastoral role in the church was really kind of the source of an identity crisis for me. The pastoral ministry has been a great source of emotional validation for me. I felt called and I got better and better at it. Simultaneously, the role bound me to a position that I was never meant to hold, judge and savior of the people I served. While it may stroke one's ego, it's also unfair, crushing weight to bear. The answer is found in humility, and I'm not the redeemer for these people. And freedom, thank God I don't have to be. Quick pause. I want you to make sure you know that you can click on the link in the description for this video to find more resources and check out our online course on overcoming bad Christianity. All right, back to it. One thing I never do, try not to ever do, when critiquing the system of the institutional church is to assume malice on the part of the church leadership. My experience has taught me that most pastors are genuine and devoted, and they are living out of a faithfulness to a call that they really believe God has placed on their life. Everything I did while I was in the institutional church was out of a sincere heart and a desire to please God. And it would really be unfair to assign a different motive to anyone else going through the same things. So my intention is not to talk anyone out of their calling. Just as I love the church, I love the clergy, I love leadership. What I don't love is how the job description can sometimes get in the way of people following Jesus. If we're not careful, it can distract us from the real prize, and that is tragic. There's an interesting caveat to my calling experience. While going through my ministerial course of study and my denominational credentialing process to become an ordained minister, I was often asked to share my calling to be a pastor, the person who shepherds the flock. While I never doubted that God did indeed call me to serve and to share the truth about God's love with young people and their families, I always struggled with the idea that it meant I had to be a pastor in the traditional sense of the word. So much of what I knew about that role of pastor, it was tied up in charisma and extroversion, and that's just not me. Now, interestingly, from many conversations and experiences with pastors away from the pulpit, I have found many introverts answering the call to preach. Now, there's one other unique aspect to my experience, and it's this. I wasn't hurt by the church. So many people who have platforms where they are deconstructing Christianity publicly, they have stories, often traumatic ones, of serious conflict or severe judgment or being ostracized by their church leaders or friends. It caused them a great deal of pain, and they have become bitter and angry when it comes to the church. In many cases, they suffered outright abusive practices. And I feel for them. I feel for those people, but that just wasn't my experience. The church people I was around were mostly kind, encouraging, and supportive. It was really a community of people doing the best they could with what they knew. I mean, it was people just trying to make it through life like everyone else. So I did not leave because of a scandal or being mistreated. In fact, if I'm totally honest, I didn't want to leave at first. It was hard to leave. I wasn't one of those people who just threw my hands up in disgust with my church or with all of church for that matter, which honestly would have made it a much easier exit. No, I lost a lot when I left the institutional church. My wife and my family lost a lot. And part of that was because I had no idea at the time how much I would gain by simply trusting and following Jesus on his terms. My journey has included a lot of uncomfortable time in the spiritual wilderness, wandering, questioning, doubting. But I cannot even begin to tell you how real, how big, how loving, and how faithful Jesus has become to me as a result of this process. It has been so worth it. Thanks for watching my video. Be sure to go to the link in the description for this video to find more resources, subscribe to our mailing list, enroll in an online course and all that good stuff, as well as hitting the subscribe and like buttons real quick before you go on to something else. I appreciate your time. I'm grateful for your support. Have a great day.